Hi guys, it's me, Just Machine again, and for this video that I will be dedicated to my birthday month, June in 2025, I would like to take a stroll down memory lane to talk about how the game Halo and Xbox changed my life in gaming for the good, for the better. Now, as you may well know at this point, I'm a gamer. People might even say that I'm a nerd for gaming. But I've been like that for almost my entire life since I got my first Nintendo Entertainment System, or the NES. But I couldn't play with regular controllers, so I used joystick like this, the NES Advantage, to play many of the games. And in parallel too. So when it came to like more mainstream games like the GameCube and the PlayStation, I do more of a mainstream controllers to play my games. And unfortunately, that's when my problem came in, because I had to use something like this controller. And this is a PS3 controller, but it's modeled after the PS2 controller, which is kind of difficult, because I'll show you why in a moment. But for all other games, I had to use this joystick. Now, these joysticks are kind of hard to come by now, but back then it was all the rage to use one of these puppies. And you see they had the three they had the buttons here that represent all the button combinations for all three systems at the time. The GameCube, PS2, and 1, for that matter, as well as the Xbox, which I didn't own at the time because I kept thinking to myself that Xbox was too big and too powerful. You know, I always had Microsoft computers and Microsoft programs, so they didn't need my money, right? And also, the joystick would take the place of, say, the directional buttons right here, as well as the left and right stick here. So every time I would play a game, and anything else for that matter, it'd be a combination of the left stick as well as the directional buttons, which work pretty good for most games, like most racing games, fighting games, you know, RPGs, and things like Grand Theft Auto. That was really awesome, because I could control with these pretty much. Same go for like hard big games like Vigilante 8, Twisted Metal, and the like, and always good rate. Until this game came along, Halo and the Xbox. Now, like I said, I didn't really give two shits about it that much, because with Microsoft was overreaching their influence, trying to get into the gaming market. So I didn't really buy into it. But because my college sweetmates were very into Halo, I want to play 2. I wanted to get in on 2, but but because I was playing with this, I couldn't do it because the way it's set up is that it's like you got the buttons for the directional buttons and the face buttons, I guess you would call them. But for the right stick, the one that was the camera and the aiming systems and some games like Halo, they don't give a shit. They were like, fuck off the right stick. You want to control your butt, you want to control your camera, fuck you. You can't. And that was a big issue for me. Because if I were to play Halo with joystick, I'd be going around like this. Because stationary, not being able to move a single inch left to right, or up or down, or whatever. I would have to. It wasn't so much a get good thing, it would just get something else. Get something that was a little more, that was, the equipment was failing me. So I figured to, try it out with the regular controller first. The first time in many years that I tried playing with the standard equipment that comes with the system. You know what? It worked out pretty well. I'll show you how I played with my joystick. Don't read too much into that. How I played with my joystick, as well as the Xbox controller, as well as the PS2 controller. Okay, this is my extended control plug-in style for the joystick. If you're playing my game, then it'd be fun, and I'd be having a good time with it. As you can tell, I play with it on my lap. Same with this. But pretend that there's a wire going across the area. So I'd be playing with this. And because I have to keep it on my lap, these buttons, the shoulder buttons, would always rub up on my leg. And therefore they would constantly be going off, more or less, to the menus or whatnot. So that'd be kind of awkward. But then this, I don't know if this is the actual Duke controller for the Xbox, for the original run of the Xbox. This is an original Xbox controller, and with difficulty, I can play a regular game of Halo with this. My friends would obviously beat me at like 2-player or multiplayer, but I could get through the campaign fine. This is why. You can look at this. This my right hand, which is more able to do complex motions and quick time events and stuff. Do the right control, and the camera and the face buttons too, whereas my left hand just moves me around. So I can go like this, like I can aim this way, that way, and shoot fire in, and throw lob grenades to run to them whatnot. But the real innovative feature is right over here. The way the triggers are set up And I'll try to show you with a flat surface. See, this is the way a PS2 controller is set up. With no actual plastic there to prevent it from by anything. You see, the shoulder buttons are actually touching the surface of the flat surface here, which is a little big nuisance for me, or for anyone that plays with the control on the lap like this. But whereas with the Xbox controller, it doesn't quite work out like that, because the piece of plastic here that actually is mounted on the controller here that prevents the trigger buttons from actually activating by pushing it down by holding the controller to the surface. It's like really handy. That's why I love the Xbox now. And the thing is that many companies have actually used the idea and adapted to the new stuff too. For example, this is the Switch Pro Control, I guess you call it. And the same idea, they got the piece of plastic here so that people who leave the control on the lap like me can do it with no problem. I'm flat surface. So even though I'm not the best player in the world because of that, because of the innovation with the controller like that, the one little piece of plastic underneath the triggers, I can do it pretty easily. And then I can use the rest of the face buttons as any balance would. So, that's why I definitely prefer the Xbox controller over the PS2 controller, because as you can see, we pretty much did not change the design for it whatsoever. It took out the overhanging button that overhangs the plastic portion, so that it if you touch the controller to a flat surface like this, it's always leaning up on the button itself, and therefore easily activates itself. Much to the ire of people like me that try to play games like that on the lap, and the button keeps activating, calling up some menus thing, which is in stark contrast to something like this, where obviously there's no button leaning up on the body or on the flat surface like that. But it is quite nice to see that they have an innovation for someone like me. I don't know whether they did that on purpose or not, but it's a nice little touch that I rather like. And this joystick was actually pretty innovative in itself, being able to emulate both the directional pad buttons and the left stick buttons, left stick functions. But the fact that it's got no option whatsoever for right analog stick is very kind of bad, especially because the right stick is very important for such games like Halo, like shooters, Grand Theft Auto games, that kind of thing. So I would think that we would input that somewhere in a controller, and that and maybe they could have done something where it's separate from the analog sticks and the directional buttons in this, because they only have one joystick available. If you could map both the same thing. Now also, there's a third-party control for the N64, which also maps the directional button onto the joystick. But unlike this thing, that beast has two joysticks on there. One for the directional, that takes place of the central control nub, and then another one that does the more traditional buttons on there. It's kind of weird. I haven't played with that in a while, but that was pretty innovative for the time for the N64 having two. And I remember that the joystick that they had for the directional buttons was more of like a flight stick type thing with complexity and stuff. But we all know that the traditional N64 controller was an abomination, an abortion of controllers. It looked like a power trident, and that was no bueno for me. So yeah. Other than that, they gotten pretty much standardized as far as the controls go, with the Switch, Wii U, and the Wii controller, Pro version anyway. I can't really do too much with touchpad though, but still that's so good to take a Pro version of it. Although I would like to see all the games put in for the Control Pro version, but I can't have everything. Can I? But yeah, that's why I can't really play PS3 games, because they do the traditional button layout with buttons like touching the surface of wherever it leans on. So that's why it would aggravate when I want to. Even when I'm calling up buy me, like where I buy a game or something online, I have to contend with that pain in the ass. So unfortunately, that's where my PlayStation gaming skills end with PS3. I didn't even bother with the 4 or 5 version of it because of that. Because I can play. What's the point of even having a video game console if you can't play the games? What am I gonna do? Am I gonna pay like $500 for a fancy Blu-ray player? That don't make any sense. But I do enjoy some games. I enjoy playing them online and other things, so I can watch them online. I do know that there was an attachment in which you could plug in a PS3 controller, and you could put in the PS3 and use the regular PS2 controller for it. So by that logic, you can plug this thing in, because on the end of this is what I call a tri-plug, which has a control for the Xbox, the GameCube, and the PS2 controller. So, in theory, I could use this thing to hook up to a PS3 and play the games on there, but it might be too complex and all that, and it might not go so smoothly. So, that's my little thing about controllers, my gaming experience, my gaming history. Halo changed my life. Yeah, I really want to play it, and I couldn't do it with the joystick, the stick of joy, say. But I was able to do it with the standard hardware, which was very nice. And that skill carried over with me for other games and systems afterwards, except Sony. I hate the fact that Sony made they carried over the button layout for that thing. It really sucks. Anyway, I thank you for watching my video on how Halo and Xbox changed my game life forever. I did this for my birthday month in June 2025. And, that was fun. Talking about my gaming experiences. Let me know if you guys have any similar problems or experiences with gaming consoles. Anyway, I would like to, if you guys like what you see here, you want to see more of my videos and such, you know, like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. Or you can always reach me for future videos and stuff by calling me or texting me at 631-707-3707. Or you can follow me on Twitter at PNelsonPro. That's also X if you prefer it. PNelsonPro. My email is jjviewingchannel@gmail.com. So just to all you gamers out there, or anyone who likes video gaming in general, and let me know if you guys like the PS2 controller or feel like the standard Xbox controller with a hard trigger plastic right here. Very good for leaning stuff on it. It flops if it does. It's simply expecting more of an inclusive gaming service than Sony. Same with the Wii games, because even though they do have like a motion games and motion sensors in the controllers, which I can't use, I hate them for that. But the fact that they have other options to play the game, most of the game, it's kind of really good in my opinion. I mean, for those that they got forced the motion control thing it though, really kind of sucked a lot. But the fact that they have other options is really awesome. So, let me know what you think of this. Or if you want to see more of my videos and such. And by the way, I'm glad that Grand Theft Auto and Kingdom Hearts went to multi-platform systems rather than just being two. Because we're getting to be able to, I'm not just. Also, because of the dual nature of the joystick part with the left stick and with the directional pad, it kind of makes it a little awkward for doing menus in games Kingdom Hearts, because I'm always cycling through the menu when to try to move left, right, or forward. Also, to the matter, to use the R1, the R3 or R3 button from here, we have to click R2 and O2 at the same time on here, which is kind of complex, hard to do with, and something like the Wii controller or the Switch controller or the PS2 controller. Do just push the button down on the corresponding analog stick, which is a bit easier, but a little bit pain, especially when you're zoomed in. And that's it. Peace out, my brothers and sisters. Sayonara, the overgrown guys, internet land. I'll see you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.